Now that we have the basic idea of optimization using total value, i.e. net benefit down, let's do an example that, generally speaking applies to our daily lives, something you could at least imagine yourself having to decide over. So this example is I need to decide what apartment I want to rent for the upcoming school year, right? So this kind of takes me back when I was going to graduate school as a PhD student, and I went to the University of Iowa, and I moved to Iowa City, and I had to decide, okay, well, where do I live? And depending on where you live relative to campus and student housing, the cost is going to tend to vary. So I've got two variables we need to consider in this problem. So my apartments, the one very close is very close to campus. And so this is my commuting time, let's say, per month. So, that's 5 hours of commuting time per month I would have coming back and forth from apartment very close, right? If I went every day to school, that's a 5-minute walk each way, roughly speaking. Okay? So if I want to get very close to campus, the rent per month is $1,180. As I move further away from campus, close is close to campus, but further than very close, I have a higher commuting time of 10 hours, but I have less rent, $1,090, and so on and so forth, right? So the further away I get from campus, the lower the rent, but the higher the commuting time. So what we want to do here first, the very first business, is to figure out, well, what is the total cost of each of my alternatives? And then we'll compare the total cost to the total benefit. So our objective here is to find the total cost of renting each apartment. Now, what we learned from our initial exploration in economics is that the total cost includes the direct cost, which in this case is rent. So let me just get rid of that so I don't confuse you. Is my direct cost, that's rent, plus my opportunity cost, which is the value of the next best alternative. And so in this example, what is my opportunity cost of renting each apartment is the commuting time. That's the variable that differs between them. Right now, we could do this example where the opportunity cost has something to do with the feature of the apartment or something, right? So one of them has a pool and the other one doesn't, and so part of the opportunity cost is related to the value placed in the pool. But we're going to stick with something pretty simple here, which is commuting time, right? So to calculate my total cost, I already know the rent. I just need to calculate what is the cost of my commuting time. So in order to do that, I have to know, well, what is the opportunity cost of each hour of my time? In this example, I've said it's $10 per hour, right? So remember, this would be your hourly wage, right? So if you want to really take this seriously and say, well, I'm going to start evaluating some of my decisions, and I want to think about what apartment I should rent. If I want to know the total cost, I need to think about, well, how much time do I spend commuting? And how do I value that time? I would look at, well, how much do I make at work? Or could I make if I was working, right? So in this example, that's $10 per hour. So to calculate the opportunity cost, we'll do it, we'll add a column here. The opportunity cost of commuting, and it's simply going to be the commuting time times the opportunity cost, right? So 5 hours commuting times $10 per hour is $50. That is my opportunity cost of renting the apartment very close. If I go to close, the opportunity cost is going to be 10 hours times $10 an hour, or $100. So each time I'm basically adding $50 to what I'm doing. I'm adding 5 hours of commuting time. So I go from close to far, I've got 15 hours of commuting times $10 an hour, and I have $150 of total cost in commuting. If I go all the way to very far, the commuting time is quite high now, 20 hours times $10 per hour. I've got $200 in total commuting time. So now that we've calculated the opportunity cost of each apartment, we can calculate the total cost. So I kind of ran out of space over there. So I'm going to put my total cost over here. Right? So the total cost is simply the direct cost, the rent, plus my opportunity cost. So I've got 1,000 for very close. I've got 1,180 plus $50. So that's going to be $1,230. 1,180 plus $50 takes me up to 1,230 is the total cost of renting apartment very close. So as I go from very close to close, I'm going to add $100. So I have $1,190, right? So the rent is $1,090. The opportunity cost is $100. I add those together, I get my total cost. We go to apartment far, it's $1,030 of rent plus the $150 of opportunity cost is $1,180 of total cost. Go to apartment very far, $1,000 in total cost plus $200 is $1,200 in total cost. Okay, so the first step, if I'm going to analyze the net benefit to make my optimization choice, what's the best apartment, is to calculate total cost. How do I calculate the total cost? Direct cost plus any opportunity cost. In our example, the opportunity cost was commuting time. We took the hours commuting times the opportunity cost of our time. We came up with the opportunity cost, added it to the rent, and now we have a ranking of which apartments are the most expensive in terms of total cost. So the cheapest apartment right now is far. That yields me the lowest total cost. So we'll analyze that relative to total benefit in the next video and see what decision that we make.